You know, this war with Iran, it opened my eyes even more to something that I already knew years ago. That the United States is abusing the military. They're using them for purposes that are not what they are supposed to be used for. And now that I think about it, I look at all the other countries, because every country has a military, man. And I can only come up with two countries that are using their military for reasons other than what it's supposed to be used for, and that is the United States and Israel. The thing is, though, Israel, they're using their military. They're not really losing a lot of their. They're not going to lose a lot of their troops in this Iran war, at least not yet. Like, not directly. When they use their troops, they're using them wrong as well, abusing them as far as using them to commit genocide, against the Palestinians and the Lebanese people and stuff like that. And they're using them to start wars with Iran. They're abusing them as well. But the United States is even a bit worse, man, because we've always used our troops to stick our noses in other places, man. We have more bases. We have bases all over the world. Even Israel doesn't have that, because Israel is just like a satellite country of the U.S. That's pretty much what Israel really is. That's why you'll never see the government here go against Israel. I don't care if it's a Democrat or a Republican, because they are pretty much it's kind of funny to say. You can say that we are like the big brother to Israel, but then at the same time, it's almost like Israel is our controller. So you can look at it various ways, but one thing is for certain: they're abusing the military, man. The U.S. government is using our military for the interest of another country. They're also using it for the interest of us, for this country, and abusing that. Sending these troops to fight, be stationed in these places they shouldn't be in, putting them in harm's way. And you can't blame the other country that feel like they're threatened by having bases all around them, because that's how we would feel if they had a bunch of military bases stationed outside of our country as well, right? So I always have the same, I look at things from every perspective, and that's a problem with a lot of Americans. That's very snobbish when it comes to stuff like this. They don't seem to care, or they don't think about how the other country might feel about being occupied, So they've been using and abusing our troops, man, from Vietnam, bombing other countries like Libya, and this goes on and on, fighting in Iraq. Iraq had nothing, I don't want to get into the 9/11 thing, because there's so much I could talk about with that, how fucking fraudulent that entire war was, that whole 9/11 thing, the whole Afghanistan and Iraq thing. It was just all bullshit, and it was all for the same reasons: resources, man, and control. That's it. That is not what our military is supposed to be used for. If you look in the Constitution, it's very simple. The military, and even without a Constitution, it's common sense. You're supposed to have a military to protect your country and your homeland from invasion. That's it. It's not supposed to be used for nothing else. It's just for defensive purposes. Example, we have no bases, right? That's in the perfect world. U.S. has no military bases anywhere. Just like most countries don't have military bases nowhere else, right? Think about that. What other countries really have hundreds and thousands of bases all over the world but us? So let's say in perfect world, we had no bases. All of our military bases were right here on U.S. soil. And if we did have bases off the soil, they were in our territories like Puerto Rico, Guam, U.S. Virgin Islands. That's understandable. Why? Because those are U.S. territories. You want to protect them. You want something that's off the homeland to protect our territories that's like off of the homeland, the mainland. And then let's say we had an aggressive country. Pick one. Okay, let's just say, just pick one out the pile. Hell, Egypt. Let's just put Egypt there. Say Egypt. Egypt decided, man, you know what? I want to attack. I want to attack the U.S. Virgin Islands. We got a military base to protect from Egypt coming after us. Now, how will we know? Well, we have all this intelligence. We got satellites and all this other stuff, right? A lot of people will say, well, we need these bases to so we can know what the other people is trying to do to us. Bullshit. Just like you will know, having a base somewhere doesn't necessarily mean you're going to know. Just how does having a base closer to another country have you believe that they're going to attack? How's that going to really prevent anything in the grand scheme of things? I don't want to hear this whole thing about intelligence, because if we gonna look at it like that, we already have spies everywhere, right? We got spies in all these countries. Okay, well, let's say we have spies over there, and we like, yo, listen, we found out that Egypt is going to attack the Virgin Islands. Okay, well now we get ourselves ready. We can't go off of assumptions. Let's just say it was wrong intel. So what, we supposed to go run over there to Egypt and just bomb them to smithereens? What if it came out that it wasn't true? That's why you have the bases at the ready. Defense. When you see these motherfuckers coming in through that water, if this is the way it was fought, let's just say, I'm just hypothetically speaking. You see them come through that water, coming toward us with military boats, whatever, we blow them out the water. We supposed to have missile defense systems. I'm okay with that. In case another country decides to act like the way we act in other countries right now, sending missiles towards us and we did nothing wrong, and they just felt like they just wanted to attack us and invade us, right, for whatever reasons. And we got missile defense systems for the mainland and for the U.S. territories. Right? Have a missile defense system on Puerto Rico, Guam, Virgin Islands, and wherever territories we have, and then have some on the mainland. That's it. And by a small chance that the invading army was to actually be successful, make it onto our homeland, well, we got the military to defend against invasion. And we do what we got to do. That is what the military is supposed to be used for, man. Right there. Not for interests of other countries, not to just become cannon fodder and die over lies. That's not what the military is supposed to be used for, man. It's sad to really watch. We're about to watch the same thing play out all over again. There was no real reason for us to attack Iran. None. Listen, man, I just made a video talking about why Iran don't like us. We helped them overthrow their democratic government. This goes back to like damn near 70 years ago. It goes way back like 70 years ago, and people keep on missing that point. They are abusing our military, man. They're using them as pawns, man. Not in defense of anything, not in defense in case of invasion. We're using them for the total opposite. We're using them to invade. So they flipped the script, man. And it's sad, bro. At one point, do people just say, "Yo, that's it, man. We not fighting for y'all no more." This actually violates our oath. It really does. When you think about it, it violates their oath. Just like the police, they're supposed to uphold the Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic, right? Keyword enemies. That doesn't mean preemptively going out there to start trouble with people. That's not what they're supposed to be doing. You get your intel and you know, hey, look, they're coming, invading army. We gonna head them off before they even touch our shores. But I'm talking about physically. We know what time it is, and we take care of it. Not lying and saying that these people are threats and you don't want them to have nuclear. Who are you to tell other countries they can't have a nuclear weapon when you got nuclear weapons and you know the reason why you got nukes? Now other countries are smartening up too. Like, well, we don't want these big superpowers picking on us, so we got to get our hands on some superior protection. It's just like if I got a Glock pistol and then my fucking neighbors, all of them got fucking AK-47s. And I'm like, damn, I got some protection, but I ain't got enough. Let me give me an AK too, just like the rest of them. So they could be a little bit more hesitant in fucking with me now. They was ready to rob my house knowing all I got is a Glock. Now they're going to be a little bit more hesitant knowing I got an AK just like them. That's what it is. Sad to watch, though. Let me know what you think, man. It's Rebel Life Truth. Catch y'all later.